call by our city recorder, please.
Mayor Roland Dykes.
Here.
Vice Mayor Connie Ball.
Here.
Alderman Mike Hansel.
Here.
Alderwoman Luana Ottinger. Here. Alderman Randy Reagan.
Here.
Alderman Steve Smith.
Here.
City Attorney Terry Hurst.
Here.
City Administrator James Fincham.
Here.
Thank you. We do have a quorum and are able to conduct the business of the city of Newport. Thank you. In your package, you've received a copy of the minutes of the previous meeting of January 13th, 2025. You've had a chance to look those minutes over. We entertain a motion to approve those minutes as presented.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion on the board to approve the minutes as presented. It has been properly seconded. Please signify your acceptance by aye.
Aye.
Nays have like sign. Hearing none, motion carries. Next item is proclamations and the recognition of citizens by the mayor. I have two things I want to present today. Last week, I was at a conference at the Middle East Tennessee Tourism Council, and we received an award that none of us were expecting. This is an award for what they call the Trailblazers Award. It was presented to me on behalf of the city of Newport. I was pleased to accept it on behalf of Newport for the way we conducted ourselves and the recognition that we gained from the Hurricane Helene and our response to that disaster. It's a very prestigious award because they do not do it every year. They only do it on special occasions, and I was very proud to accept this reward. Next item. Mr. McSween, would you step forward? Many of you know this gentleman. He has been here for a few years.
Few years, yes.
And he has served on our planning commission since its inception.
Right.
And he's recently retired, and we thought it would be a good occasion to present this proclamation to him on behalf of his service. The Office of the Mayor, Newport, Tennessee. Proclamation to Attorney Jim McSween.
Thank you.
Whereas the importance of regional planning in promoting orderly growth, cooperation among municipalities, and the long-term well-being of the community. And whereas the Newport Regional Planning Commission was established in 1967 to serve these purposes. And whereas Jim McSween was one of the founding members of Newport Regional Planning Commission and played a key role in its formation and early leadership. And whereas Jim McSween is an attorney with extensive knowledge of property and land use matters, and he generously applied his knowledge to the Newport Regional Planning Commission and the community it serves. And whereas through decades of dedicated service, his legal insight, sound judgment, and commitment to responsible planning helped guide complex decisions affecting the city of Newport. And whereas Jim McSween retired from the Newport Regional Planning Commission in October 2025, concluding an extraordinary record of public service and civic leadership. And whereas his contributions exemplify the values of professionalism, collaboration, and public service upheld by this city council. And therefore, in order to pay tribute to Jim McSween, I, Mayor Roland Dykes III, do hereby recognize and honor him for his fundamental foundational role, legal expertise, and lasting impact on the Newport Regional Planning Commission to proclaim February 10th, 2026 as Jim McSween Day and commend all citizens to recognize and support him. Be it further proclaimed that the City Council extends its sincere appreciation and best wishes to Jim McSween upon his retirement, with gratitude for his many years of service to the public good. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and fixed the seal of Newport, City of Newport on this 10th day of February, 2026. Mr. McSween, thank you for all
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Please be seated and let me express my appreciation to the City Council for its support of the Planning Commission over these years. It was organized in 1967 at a time when there was no overall plan for the development of our community. But with the effects of the property owners and the problems they were having with their development, and the banks that were financing those developments saying, have you been approved by the Planning Commission? And they'd say, what's that? And so we got organized, and with that development came what I feel like I have been a part of, the most significant development of the community of Newport in its business, professional, industrial, and governmental functions. Thank you very much for the gift, and thank you, Mayor Dykes. I appreciate that. Thank you. And if it's done, will you excuse me?
You're excused.
I will.
You don't have my permission to be excused.
Our next item on the agenda is our communications from our city administrator, Mr. James Fincham.
Thank you, Mayor. Sadly, I'm going to be a while, so get comfortable. The first thing I have is an update on the police department. Finally, I have a little bit of good news. We are seeing the fruits of our attorney's labor in dealing with the insurance company about the police department. As I've reported in the past, the FEMA is basing their formula for payment to us on what the insurance does or does not do. And so when the insurance denied that we had storm damage, which was ridiculous, that put FEMA into agreement with them that, well, if the insurance says you don't have damage, you don't have damage. And so we've had to repeatedly get engineers to come in and do assessments on the police department, and we had to do another one. And they've all came back, other than the one that the insurance company brought in. All the others have gone our way on it and said, yes, it did sustain a significant amount of damage. It does amount to more than 51% of the cost of repairing the building, and therefore it should be considered a total loss. And so the latest engineer that our lawyer asked for come back with the same report, and so now they're starting to loosen up a little bit. The insurance company is, and FEMA is. So I don't want to get too far ahead of the cart in front, the cart in front of the horse, but Monica reported to me this week that it's looking better right now. So that's the first kind of ray of sunshine we've had on it for some time now. It's been negative. Everything that I've had to report to y'all has been negative till now. So I wanted to share with you, we are finally seeing a little bit of positive movement on it, but I still don't have a clue what ultimately it's going to be that we're going to get from the insurance and from FEMA as far as the police department goes. And so we're still just battling that tiger, but we have seen some movement a little bit in our direction on that. The other thing that I have is talking about NU. All right, the first thing is on the agenda tonight, and I need to do some correction here. Under old business, it's got consideration of second reading of resolution charter change for the city of Newport. That should not have said second reading. That should have said amended first reading. because that is what is on the agenda, to amend the first reading of that. MTAS drew up the charter change, and MTAS missed a section in there that's about 2 sentences way over in the back that we didn't strike out of it when we voted last month. And the statement is that no member of the Board of Mayor and Aldermen may serve upon the board of the Newport Utilities. And that was left in there. And so they caught it in Nashville. The lawyers in Nashville picked up on it. And so they sent it back and said, you got to fix this. And so that's why it was put back on the agenda for tonight, was to strike that out officially. And then let them know back in Nashville that that has been stricken out and they can move on. But this is not a second reading. The second reading cannot happen until the charter change is voted on in Nashville. That will be around April. Then if it passes, it goes to the governor's desk for a signature. It will not be, if everything goes smooth, it will not be back until around June of this year. And then you have to have a public hearing, and then you have a second vote. And so you can't have a second vote until it comes back from Nashville. And so that was just a mess up on our part that got put in there as a second reading. It is not a second reading. It is an amended first reading, is what is on the agenda for tonight. Now, I've been asked by some of you to address some of the stuff that's been going on social media, and I'm happy to do that. I'm always happy to set the record straight on stuff. I can battle the truth all day long, but it's hard to battle a lie, because people will choose, and I've had this debate with people many times. If I lie to you and somebody else comes and tells you the truth, you got 2 choices. You can believe the lie or you can believe the truth. But how do you know which one is what? So it's up to you to decide which one you want to believe. All I can do is tell you the truth. But if you choose to believe the lie, I can't help that. That's a decision you got to make for yourself. And so what I can absolutely tell you for a fact is we have no intention. Now, I've talked to every one of these people, and nobody has expressed any interest to me, none of these people, about taking control of Newport Utilities. I read that petition and some of that other stuff that the cities want to seize control. Well, anybody with any sense ought to know 2 people can't seize control of a 7-member board. It takes 4 votes to do anything on a 7-member board. 2 people can't control nothing. What 2 people can do is find out what the heck's going on. Now, a year ago, this all got started a year ago, and that was when our audit was late to the state of Tennessee because of the utility company. Our audit goes in to Nashville with the utilities combined with ours. Now, one thing that I don't understand, and Tina is our accountant, and she can't understand it either, is why that the comptroller, and they can't explain it to us, why the comptroller will accept the utility company's audit without ours, but they will not accept ours without theirs. They won't do it. Okay, the deadline for the audit to be into the state of Tennessee is December the 31st, New Year's Eve. NU turned the audit in to the state the day before New Year's Eve, the 30th of December. Now, this is last year. Okay, we get reprimanded by the comptroller because our audit is late. Our audit was done on time. Our audit was clean. There's not been a finding in our audit in 10 years. Our audit has not been late in 12 years, other than when somebody else made it late. But we're supposed to just take that and say nothing. Well, we're not going to do that because we take pride in our paperwork. We work for the citizens, and it's our responsibility to make sure that the city's run right, that the money's accounted for, that things are done the way it's supposed to be. That's why we take great pride in a clean audit. I guarantee you this won't flog you over an audit. Ask any department head here how hard she fights for the audit. But no, we're at the mercy of any of you. If they decide not to send the audit into our auditors, so be it. They don't get in trouble, we do. Well, we tried to explain that to the comptroller's office. Look, man, it's not our fault. NU didn't get it to us. They said, we don't want to hear it. You own the utility company. It's your responsibility. If you can't control it, that is your problem. How's that fair? How is that fair that we can be held our feet to the fire by the state of Tennessee because we can't control the utility company because we own it, but we have no say in what goes on. But that's the facts. Check it. Hey, everything I say to you is recorded. I guarantee you, I'm not sitting here telling you a lie about nothing because it's too easy to check up on what I tell you. I'm on the record from now on. It's a public record. It's too easy to check what I tell you. So I can't get up and tell you a bunch of BS and lie to you and think I'm going to get away with it, because I ain't going to get away with it. So I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. But I will tell you the facts. And some facts are hard to face. Now, when this happened last year, we talked to Jeremy Faison about changing the charter and putting the mayor, only the mayor, on the utility board over this audit deal. Now, you say, well, you know, the mayor comes to the meetings, why's he got to be on the board? Well, that's very easy to explain. Routinely, the utility board goes into executive session. I don't know how many of you's heard of that. But that means a private session. And that means that everybody has to get out, including the mayor. And they go into executive session, they kick the mayor out, and they make decisions, especially when it comes to finance. Now, that's what we're talking about here, is finance. Now, if the mayor's on the board, they can't kick him out. Let them go into executive session all they want to and talk about whatever kind of bull comes in front of them and they drink the Kool-Aid. So I'm sorry, but that's what it boils down to. If the mayor's there, there's somebody there listening. Okay, Jeremy Faison wouldn't take it. He said, and if he won't take it, he's our representative. If he won't take it and sponsor it, it ain't happening. So he refused to take it. So there wasn't anything we could do about it. So we complained to the utility board. I think we wrote a letter last year. I know we wrote one just recently this year. And I think we wrote one last year complaining about it. And we were assured, and some of the members of here were there, we were assured that will never happen again. We would have our audit. And when I say we, not us. They don't send it to us. They send it to our auditors. But we would have it no later than November the 15th. Because our auditor said that was the deadline that would make sure that they could get everything done and get it all in on time. It was guaranteed, swore up and down, it'll never happen again. Well, you know what happened? It happened again. The very same thing happened again this year. The audit goes in on December the 30th. Again. We're not in compliance again. Now, there's a new law that went into effect about, I don't know, what, a year and a half ago? Okay. Sorry, I get dry talking. there was a new law went into effect last year that says, and we wasn't aware of this till yesterday, so it really made my day and hers. If a city or county audit is late for 2 consecutive years, they are subject to 3 penalties. One is a 15% fine on your sales tax. Our sales tax is $5.8 million. 15% of that's $870,000. A fine for being late 2 years with an audit that we had no control over. Now, I'm sure a lot of you pay property taxes. I don't know how many of you do in the city. But to replace $870,000, we'll have to have a 37-cent tax increase to break even. Now sell that to the property owners in town and tell them that we're going to increase their taxes 37 cents because the utility company couldn't get their audit in on time. Now, number 2, we can not, for 1 year, we cannot borrow any money. All right? We need to build a police department. That's $7.2 million to build it. We don't have that money just to go build it. We got to borrow some money. We got to borrow most of it to build it. If we can't borrow money, there'll be no police department. We'll keep doing what we're doing. They'll be up there humped up at the community center. Number 3, we don't qualify for any community development block grants, which is how we fund a lot of stuff that we do with free money from the state and the federal government. We will be ineligible for any of that for 1 year. And if we're late again, it'll be another year. But we're supposed to just sit and take it, let that happen to the city of Newport. That'd cripple the city of Newport if all this happens. So we have to do something. We owe it to the taxpayers of this community to do something. Not just sit here and say, oh, well, it's going to make a few people mad if we do something. Too bad. When I'm doing the right thing, I don't care who gets mad. And I don't do anything that I don't think's the right thing. Now, some of this other junk. I heard about the big deal that we're wanting to seize control and come in and fire everybody. That's the biggest load of bunk I ever heard in my life. These people have not mentioned firing nobody. Nobody. And if we fired everybody, who in the heck's going to run the place? Who in the heck's going to go out and get the power lines back up? We've had nobody complain to us about linemen, about the rank and file workers. We've had no complaints about it. None. I have no complaints. I've had linemen come talk to me when I've been out eating lunch and say, why don't the city do something about what's going on down at NU? And I say, well, what are you talking about? And they say, well, the way they treat us down there. And I tell them, I say, look, man, we don't have any control over it. We have no control over it whatsoever. And they say, there was like 8 at one restaurant one time that I talked to, sitting together. And they talked about how that the management tries to spin it to the board, that everybody leaves for more money, better opportunities, but that is not the case. That they leave because they don't like the way they're talked to, they don't like the way they're treated. And I don't know. I don't work there. I just know what people that do work there, some have told me. Now, that's 2 or 3 people talking out of a group of 8. I don't know what goes on down there. I'm not there. But we have nothing against the rank and file workers down there. We have nothing against the administration, but they got to be held accountable. And the city, when the state of Tennessee tells you you own it, you're responsible for it, what are you supposed to do? When the only thing you can do is try to put somebody on the board where you got a say about what goes on. Now, One big issue, of course, Jeremy Faison, he called me during the holidays and said that he had had a bunch of complaints about the lobby being closed all the time, about people not calling back, people can't get anybody in customer service. We've been getting the same complaints. I get them, the board gets them, we've all been getting them. And we just tell them all the same thing. There's nothing we can do about it. Now, I talked to Mr. Wilford about it myself and told him these complaints were coming in. And he said that he was protecting his people, that he wasn't opening the lobby because there were death threats, and he was going to do whatever it took to protect his people. And that, I protect my people. I go, if anybody gets out there in that lobby and starts yelling and fussing at my people, I come out there and show them the door. But I don't lock the door. The next person can come right in behind them, because we are here to serve the public. The utility is a public utility. It serves the public, like it or not. That's the fact. I had a lady come in here this morning, very upset about something, demanding to see me and the mayor, and when she left, she was happy. But now I could have run and hid and said, well, tell her I'm not here, you know. I don't hide from anybody. That's not what I'm here for. Anybody wants to talk to me, I talk to them. And I tell them the truth the best way I know it. And they're, you know, now somebody said, you know, Wilford told me, he said, now Jeremy, you know, when I talked to him about the Jeremy deal, that Jeremy, you know, it was in this petition that Jeremy's wanting to come in and take over. I told Wilford, I said, who says that? You know, that didn't come from us. We never said that. Jeremy's never said nothing to me about wanting to be at the utility. He's never mentioned that to me. Now, could I sit here and tell you, I guarantee you that if an opening came, he wouldn't come apply for it? I couldn't tell you that about him any more than I could tell you that about her. I don't know. I don't know what somebody's going to do. But he's never mentioned it to me. And I've asked the members of the board, has he ever mentioned that to any of you? And they've all said no. He's never mentioned that to them. So I don't, now, Wilford said he's telling it all over town. Maybe he is, but I've not talked to anybody that said he's told them that. But I've not been out going around asking about it either. I've asked people that's come through here. And but now I can't swear to none of that, I promise you, you know, if the opening comes, he won't apply for it. I don't know. He might. I can't speak to that. But I can guarantee you there's no movement, some underhanded, behind the table junk that's going on to try to get him in there. I can promise you that. Now, we talk about, and they talk about it in this letter that got sent out to everybody, the petition that's online going around about what all happened last time that aldermen were on the board and the Glen Ray issue. You know, let me clarify something here. And I don't like what went on down there any more than anybody else does, because it affected us in a bad way too. With the utility getting in a bind. It puts us in a bind when the utility's in a bind, because we're on the hook for the debt down there. So it hurts us when things go screwy down there. It's not like, but it's no, it's no skin off us. It is. We've got a big, big interest in what goes on down there, because as I've already explained to you, we're held accountable for it. Okay. Well, you know, them aldermen, they snuck around and, you know, they brought that Glen Ray back. They cut a backroom deal and they brought Glen Ray. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. They ran for election with a campaign promise that if they were elected, they'd bring Glen Ray back. There was a room full as big as this. Probably the last time there's this many people in here. Mike Cannon was here, that stood up and gave speeches, impassioned speeches about bring Glen Ray back. They stood up and challenged everybody on the board, and some of them were on the board down there, to do the right thing and bring this local boy back. Am I telling the truth? Okay. They took no action. There were people one of them that got up and gave one of the most impassioned speeches, ran for alderman and got elected. He's no longer with us. He's gone on to his reward. But he ran, and others ran. 3 of them. There were more that ran on it. Only 3 of them got elected. That ran with the promise that if we are elected, we're going to bring Glen Ray back. It wasn't a sneaky deal that got cut behind some smoky room. It was wide open, and the public voted for them and put them in, and they brought Glen Ray back. If the public was opposed to it, why'd they vote for them? All they had to do is say, I'm not electing nobody to bring Glen Ray back. Look what he's done. I'm not voting for that. I'm not voting for no. No, they elected him. If I run for something and I tell you, if you elect me, this is what I'm going to do, and you elect me, then I figure that's what you want me to do. You know, I've explained that to Michael I don't know how many times. Oh, it was a deal. It was a dirty deal. It wasn't a dirty deal. It was a campaign promise. There was no sneaking around about it. It was wide open. So, there's the facts. It seems like that people have, and I know a lot of people wasn't around when this went on. They wasn't involved. They didn't see what happened. And some people are just so easily led by social media. I'm not on social media, and I'm not going to be, because I don't give a crap what somebody says on social media. And I have no interest in it. I've got a life. And I'd prefer to do anything, whole taters, than be on social media. Now, I have to deal with it through my work here at City Hall. The city's got social media pages. We've got staff that takes care of it, that monitors it, that puts stuff on there, because it's a necessary evil. But just like with this deal, misinformation, lies, gets spread in the community and gets people all riled up. You all wouldn't be here if you wasn't riled up. I get that. Hey, I've been riled up plenty of times. You know, that's human nature. If you won't stand up for yourself, why would you expect somebody else to stand up for you? But I have to stand up for the people of Newport. That's my duty, that's my responsibility. When I won't do that anymore, it's time for me to go home, because I have no purpose here. And I promise you, as long as I sit in this chair, I'm going to do what I think's best for the people in Newport. And if that means taking on the utility board, taking on any board, taking on the comptroller, taking on TVA, I don't care. Because I'm going to fight for the people of Newport. And I'm sorry if that ruffles any feathers, or that burns people the wrong way, or whatever. But this was not something that was just done to try to do something against anybody, or to try to fire anybody, or try to make anybody lose their job. We've not talked about, in all the conversations we've had about the utility company, we've not talked about firing anybody. Why would we? We can't fire anybody. And if 2 people's on that board, they still can't fire anybody. It takes 4, not 2. 2 people cannot seize control of that board. Ask any lawyer and see if I'm telling you right. And so any of y'all that's here, because you're afraid that if this happens, and there's no guarantee this will happen, even if this amendment is done tonight and goes to Nashville, it's still got to come back in June and be voted on again, and you got to have a public hearing on it when it comes back. So even if it goes through tonight, it's not a done deal. But we tried to do it last year, and Faison wouldn't do it. But this year he said he would, because he said he's had so many complaints from the public about the lobby being closed, can't get anybody to call them back, people being rude to them, what they felt like was excessive fees. You know, it's a multitude of complaints. But, you know, but the clincher for us was the audit. If the audit wasn't late again this year, you wouldn't have been hearing from us. That we were promised last year, it will not happen again. And it did. And it's put us in this position where we could be fined $870,000. Now that ain't chump change. And we can't just sit and roll over and take that. We can't do it. If we are, what benefit are we? If we're just going to let that happen. That's about all I got, Mayor.
Okay, thank you, James. Item 6 is appointment of boards, commissions, and committees, of which there aren't any tonight. Item 7, reports from committees, members of council, and other officers. Does anyone have?
Mayor, one thing that didn't need to be on the agenda, but I said it last year, and I'll remind again, I'd still like, now that our budget's starting again, I'd like again to look at rehiring the 2 or 3 police officers that we haven't put back yet when we had to not hire, and to put the firefighters back to the full hours they were hired to work, which would mean getting rid of their killer.
Yeah, we can crunch those numbers. We'll crunch
I'd like
them.
for everybody to look at that, please. Well, not everybody, you guys.
Yeah, we'll crunch those numbers.
Thank you, Mayor.
I already amended my copy right there. Okay, item 8 is old business and unfinished business. As you've already heard from James, this is not a second reading. This is consideration of amending resolution number 2026-01, charter change for the city of Newport.
And what this does, it strikes in the old charter where it says, no member of the board of mayor and alderman may serve on the Newport Utilities Board. It takes that out. It doesn't replace it with anything. It just takes that out, and that's it.
Okay? You've heard the presentation. What's the board's pleasure?
I have some comments.
Okay?
James, 100% in agreement. We serve the people here. I know it's mainly city, but we serve the whole community in a roundabout way. I was the mayor back when all of the council members were added to that board. The board that we have now at the Newport Utilities is excellent. If I'm not mistaken, I don't know if I was a part of it because I was gone for a little while, but the city council, whoever sits at this table, is responsible for the members on the board. And I dare say anybody in here can look at that list and tell there's not one thing wrong with that board. They've done a great job, and I'm sure they'll continue to. The biggest issue I've got, and I've been in this place here for nearly 30 years, no communication from NUB. You know when I heard that the doors were locked? WLIK. I'll ask anybody in here if you would want to hear it off the radio station rather than from the mouth itself. Communication is, I mean, when you won't communicate with the people that own you, there's a problem. Or is something being hid from us? You know, that's the question I got, and I don't think the 2 men are here tonight. But I would have said the same thing at the event. They need to communicate. Is there anybody in this audience that don't like to be communicated with. That's what I figured. Now, we got a grave responsibility here to you, to the whole community. And I would say this, and you can correct me if you're working the utilities. I don't recall any power outage during the storm. Did we have any?
Not that I know of.
Many?
And I was expecting it, but it didn't happen.
Well, I think that goes back to the people that work and all of the trees for a long time that's been cut to get them out of the power lines. But we're extremely proud of you. And I hope you can believe that, because I'm like James, I don't lie. But communication is extremely important. Why should we not know, why should we not been contacted that we're going to have to close the office Monday and Friday? Because we're the ones that goes to Walmart and Food City, and we have to hear it. Now, I won't listen to anybody complaining about their electric bill. But when they start talking about things that we should have been aware of, then that bothers me. Because I'm here to serve, everybody else is here to serve and do the best we can, but we need to know what's going on. We let everybody in the community know what's going on at a council meeting. It's extremely important that happens. I think it would be important to this council if one of the two top men would come to a council meeting. And I don't think it would be out of order for them to prepare a brief, one-page report of things that's happened there that we might need to be aware of. If we didn't communicate to you all, we'd never be elected again. So you got to have it. Transparency is important. If you can't be transparent, then you're hiding something. And I don't think anything's being hidden. But we'd like to know.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to add too. I mean, I've seen the social media stuff, and I'm surprised that you guys are here. The complaints we get are totally administrative. And I think, in a nutshell, what the two people off this board will bring is accountability. And it would appear somebody has a problem in the administrative levels with accountability. We appreciate what you do, and thank you for your service.
I will also echo a bit of what Vice Mayor Ball has said, because I know that at least 3 of those people on that board came under my administration and my recommendation. The other 2 were there when I rolled off that board, and one actually took my place as chair. I know they're very fine people. I have no problem whatsoever with anyone on that board. But we have got to have, as James has already said, everyone on the council, we have to have some accountability. We're facing, I hope everybody realizes how dire that could be if we had to undergo those penalties that James just described. It would cripple, not only cripple the city, we wouldn't be able to operate. The tax increase would be prohibitive, and I know no one in here wants that. So, in any case, we thank you, got everyone for being here, but we don't have an issue with you guys or with that board. So let that be said publicly.
I've got a couple other things.
Okay.
You said it's going to be a long meeting. Is Johnny here?
Johnny's here, yeah.
Hey, Johnny.
Yes, sir.
Is there a rule or regulation or something that you all have that says the mayor of Newport can't sit in on an executive meeting?
I'll have to look into that. I'm not remembering that.
I would like you to do that,
I'll
because
get your answer in the morning.
that's a slap in the face to the mayor that can't go on an executive meeting. He can't vote at this point in time.
I think it's in bylaws, though, that no outsider, anyone off the board. Is Jeff Green here?
That would be correct, Mayor. It's just like if we had an executive session,
Yeah.
it'd be limited only to us and your lawyer.
Right. It's in the bylaws that I couldn't attend.
Generally, and our rule is we only go into executive session if there's a legal issue. My information and belief that's the only reason.
Is there a rule against the two boards coming together for a meeting, the Newport Utilities Board and the City Council with their administration and attorneys, of course, to kind of hash out what we feel like we need?
Well, we could have a workshop, but it would still have to be open to the public.
Gotcha.
I'm for that. I'm kind of over, I'm for that.
I am too.
I think it's a good idea.
I am too.
You know, we don't have anything to hide. I wouldn't care who comes.
No, I wouldn't either.
But sometimes you have to sit down at the table and talk it over.
I agree.
Absolutely.
And it's on record, what we're saying here, communicate.
Yeah.
Just, don't act like we don't exist. That's the problem that I've got. And another thing to consider too, I was the mayor when all this went on before. I think they ended up, was it 9 members? I think it was 9.
It was 7.
7.
7.
I think it was 7, and it's been reduced to 5.
Well, that didn't work too good. But
We had, I think, four of those 7 were council members.
that's,
They didn't put a limit on how many of the 7 could be board members. It was supposed to be limited when it went down to Nashville. And when it came back, they had changed the wording and took the limitation out. And so they kept adding members to it, but they didn't keep adding more members. They just kept replacing old members with board members. This limits it to 1 board member and the mayor.
one more thing and I'm gonna shut up, okay?
Promises, promises.
There is never, I've served on, I don't know how many boards in 30 years, but you don't ever know who's going to be on this board here. And I've been on some that wasn't good at all. They lied to me a lot, some of them, not all of them, but I've been around the block and back. And I'd trust any one of these that's sitting here with me now. But I couldn't promise you that would be the same thing, 2 or 3 years from now?
8 months from now.
Gosh, I'm way behind. But anyway, I think that's something we have to consider. I would vote to put this mayor, any of these on. But what would you have down the road? I just want communication. Everybody wants communication. And do it by the book.
We need to put stipulations in to where that can't happen. Get that off the books.
What's that?
Our boards in the future trying to take total control. We need to fix that before this goes on. That's a concern.
Well, it would be.
It would be a concern of mine if I was sitting on the board that we have now, which is super. That would be a big concern of mine, is who's going to be next.
The first time I ran, the way I remember it, the entire council that was on the Newport City Council was systematically trying to put everybody on the Newport utilities, which is wrong. And I can assure you, from my part, people here, that's not going to happen.
I got one more question. James and Terry, is it not a fact that city council can take over the utilities and be the board?
They have to, they can. It requires, again, it's the same process. You just do a charter change that does that. Now, I will tell you this, and Mike asked me to bring this out, and I skipped it I went so long. You're going to get your way anyway. The city council served as the utility board until 1939. And in 1939, the city council drew up, or I'm sure had somebody draw it up, they didn't draw it up, but they had somebody draw up this charter, or the original charter, that created the Newport Utility Board, because they were tired of dealing, it was getting to be a bigger and bigger thing, and they were getting tired of having to try to run the utility and also run the city of Newport. So in 1939, they created the Newport Utility Board, and the Utility Board has existed ever since. Now, the city owned it, the city operated it. When the new board took over, the city still owned it. The city is still responsible for the debt down there to a certain extent. Not every dime of it, but some of it. They can, if they start to, looks like they're going to default on their debt, they can start keeping our in lieu of, which is $1.2 million on top of this $870,000 that we can lose if they can't pay their debt. They can keep that to help pay the debt. Now, and I can't tell you exactly 37 cents to replace 870,000. I don't know exactly what it'd be to replace 1.2 million. I didn't figure that out. But to this day, nothing has changed other than there's been some little charter tweaks back and forth over the years. But it's still the same, it's the same setup that it was in 1939. The utility board is appointed by the city council, and the city owns the utility, and so is ultimately responsible for it. And that's what the comptroller likes to focus in the eye with when the audit is late, that we own it, we have no excuse for it being late, even though we have no control or no say. And so there has been talk over the years about doing some research and evaluating what would that look like if we tried to go back to what it was like prior to 1939. And my answer has been, please don't, because I got enough to do running the city. I don't need to be worried about what's going on, all the day-to-day operations at the utility company. So no, please don't consider that. But yes, it can be done, but it's the same process. You have to get a private act to dissolve the board the same way as a private act created the board. And so that can be done, but I would not recommend that. And I would never recommend doing that. So, but yes, it is possible, but it is not recommended.
And Mayor, I'd like to point out one issue that I did see, that the question that the board members were all citizens of Newport. Well, you don't have to live inside the city of Newport to be a member of the utility board, and I think 4 out of the 5 live in the county.
Correct.
You just have to own property.
You have to be a voter. You have to be a registered voter in the city of Newport to serve on the utility board. And we have one that lives in Del Rio. We have one that lives in Parisville. We have one that lives in Green Acres, and we have one that lives at the golf course, and we have one that lives in the city that lives in Indian Hills behind the Pizza Hut. There is one member of the Newport Utility Board that lives in the city. One member.
Anyone else have anything? Okay. Well, we do have an open resolution on the board. Do I need to read it again? Is everybody comfortable with the resolution? What's the board's pleasure?
Motion to approve.
I'll second that. Okay. We need roll call.
Alderman Mike Hansel.
Aye.
Alderwoman Luana Ottinger.
No.
Alderman Randy Reagan.
I'm going to ask that those two boards meet together what we just talked about, y'all talked about a while ago, I'm gonna vote yes because this can't happen until May or June. So if those boards can get together and get happy, the next vote.
Well, it's
It may not-
approving it tonight. You can still not,
That's why I'm,
it's got to be voted on the second time in June.
that's why I'm clarifying my yes vote. When it comes back from Nashville, if it comes back, and all this hasn't been took care of, then it'll take 4 votes. So I'm gonna vote yes to allow the process to work out. I know that's a lot of words just to say yes, but I wanted to be clear to everybody here, because we're all,
Well, I think it's
we're
fair.
all friends.
Alderman Steve Smith,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Connie Ball,
I'm going to vote no, but if we don't start getting some communication, then if this comes around again, I'll be in a different story.
Well, the audit you won't know about the audit till the end of the year.
Right.
So, and if it happens again, if they don't do with these penalties against us, they will that time. If it happens a third time, there's going to be no appealing it, no crying, begging our way out of it. And you can, as the old saying goes, you can close the barn door once the horses run off, and that's what you're going to be doing if it happens again.
And I think the board that we have can do what's right. And if they're having a problem, they need to let us know.
Well, we were promised it would not, when we went to the board last year, we were assured it would not happen again. And it did.
So now we have 4 or 5 months to see if this can be worked out. Before-
You ain't going to know till November,
That's out of order
brother.
right now.
No, I'm talking about the past of this. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, you're not going to know about the audit till November. So you can't wait to see if they get the audit in on time before you vote, because he'll have to vote in June, and the audit's due November the 15th. So you won't know till November the 15th if they got the audit in the timely fashion that we need. You're not going to know till November. That's the only issue I got. You know,
That's a big
the lobby not being open doesn't affect me. You know, people not answering the phone don't affect me. Fining me $870,000 affects me. Telling me I can't borrow money affects me. Telling me I can't apply for a grant affects me.
Yeah,
That's all I care about.
We're out of order right now. All right, we still have a motion on the board.
No, it's been voted.
Been voted, I have to count 3-2.
Yep.
Motion carries. Finally. Okay. New business is, item A is consideration of the first reading of ordinance number 2026-01, budget amendment for the city of Newport.
In June.
And Mayor, that's ordinance number 2026-01.
Takes forward June.
Amending the annual operating budget and capital programs for the city of Newport, Tennessee, fiscal year 2025-2026.
Heard the resolution. What's the board's pleasure? Heard the ordinance.
Motion approved.
Second.
All right, have a motion on the board to approve consideration of first reading of ordinance number 2026-01, budget amendment for the city of Newport. It has been properly seconded. Please signify your acceptance by aye.
Aye.
Nays have like sign. Hearing none, motion carries. Item B is consideration of resolution number 2026-04, authorizing the submission of an application for fiscal year 2026 state local parks and recreation funds.
So we are back again, the Parks and Rec Department. Last month, you all approved us to submit a pre-application for this, for the 2026 OREC public grant cycle, and we found out at the end of January it did get approved to move forward. So we are asking for permission to submit the full application. We are asking for the city to let us move forward and for an assurance of match of $1,162,500. And we would like to use the value of the Woodland property for the majority of that. We are working towards an opinion of value that we think will cover most of that match. The award would be right at $3.5 million if we do get this. We would find out sometime, hopefully, in July of this year. The contract would not start until July 1 of 2027. And this would be money that would be utilized for Woodland, the Woodland Park property and White Oak.
Okay.
And that's why we tried to attach a letter with that, because that sounds like a lot that's going on out there. So we tried to explain it a lot more in the letter. But the value of the property will be at White Oak and at Woodland will be a large portion of our match on the value of the land, opinion of it.
Heard the presentation. What's the board's pleasure?
Make a motion.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion on the board for consideration of resolution number 2026-04, authorizing the submission of an application for fiscal year 2026 state, local parks, and recreation funds. It has been properly seconded. We need a roll call, please, don't we?
Alderman Mike Hansel.
Yes.
Alderwoman Luana Ottinger.
Yes.
Alderman Randy Reagan.
Yes.
Alderman Steve Smith.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Connie Ball.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. Item C.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council.
Thank you.
Item C is consideration of resolution number 2026-05, annexation off Rankin Road.
The lot, thank you all for coming out for this item. I know that's why everybody is here for this annexation hot topic. There's a piece of property on the map there. Trey, we were in the Planning Commission meeting, I know, and the question was about the eligibility of it to be annexed. The weird thing, and we never find that on our map, but the weird thing is that there's a sliver of that piece of property that's already in the city limits, so we'd be taking the lot as a whole in. I'm not sure if it was something beforehand that got replatted or what. I didn't go deep diving on it, but that allows us to annex without question. So the property owners requested it. It's non-controversial.
Okay. For the presentation, what's the board's pleasure?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, we have a motion then for consideration of resolution number 2026-05, annexation off Rankin Road. Has been properly seconded. Please signify acceptance by aye.
Aye.
Nays have like sign. Hearing none, motion carries.
Thank you.
Item D is consideration of applying for the Tennessee Highway Safety High Visibility Grant for the Police Department.
This is our usual yearly ask to apply for a Tennessee Highway grant. It's for $10,000. It will apply, so it's a high visibility grant, so we buy $2,000 of it will be go towards our overtime for traffic enforcement, and another $8,000 will give us equipment. It's a zero match from the city.
We heard the presentation. What's the board's pleasure?
Motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion on the board for consideration of applying for the Tennessee Highway Safety High Visibility Grant for the Police Department. It has been properly seconded. Please signify your acceptance by aye.
Aye.
And nays have like sign. Hearing none, motion carries.
Thank you.
Item E, consideration of allocation of funds for Main Street.
Hello, everyone. Since we became the 49th Main Street, we're an official nonprofit, so the funding, the majority of it will need to go to the Main Street nonprofit. So that's why I'm asking for this portion for audit purposes, because it needs to be separated. And this will have our final, our final event, which will be Bloomfest for this fiscal year. It's got it itemized there, and then we will be getting Placer AI to show us a lot of lot of data that will help with the formation of our group and just help with businesses, with visitors, all that type of thing. It'll give us precise data for that. And then we'll be doing some marketing material, and we'll be doing a website. So which is itemized in the budget there for you guys. So total of $43,600.
Probably should have displayed our Main Street sign back there just to give everybody a chance to see what this is all about. Okay, you've heard the presentation. What's the board's pleasure?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion then for consideration of allocation of funds for Main Street in the amount of $43,600. It has been properly seconded. Please signify, well, I need roll call.
Alderman Mike Hansel.
Yes.
Alderwoman Luana Ottinger.
Yes.
Alderman Randy Reagan.
Yes.
Alderman Steve Smith.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Connie Ball.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Monica. Item A, under 10, bids, purchases, and expenses. Item A is consideration of bids for a Can-Am Defender for the police department.
So we have searched over, and our closest bid on it is from a state contractor. It's a state bid from Columbia Motorsports for $31,918.48. This vehicle will be used to patrol Woodland Park, search and rescue situations, special events, and inclement weather use also. It is in our budget as well.
Okay, for the presentation, what's the board's pleasure?
Motion to approve.
Okay. We do have a motion, and you have a second. Item on the board is consideration of bids for a Can-Am Defender for the police department in the amount of $31,918.48. It has been properly seconded. Please signify acceptance. No, roll call. I'm sorry.
Alderman Mike Hansel.
Yes.
Alderwoman Luana Ottinger.
Yes.
Alderman Randy Reagan.
Yes.
Alderman Steve Smith.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Connie Ball.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item B is consideration of bids for flashing warning signs for the fire department.
Good evening, Council. What the fire department is requesting is some flashing signs that we can put out on West Broadway and C Avenue. When the fire trucks are taking off, we'll have a remote, and those lights will start flashing to warn motorists that the fire trucks are fixing to pull out of the station and pull into the highway. I don't know if you know, too, our station, the way it is, we have to back our trucks back into the station, and it's just an extra warning and a safety thing that we're doing. This is going to be on a Omnia cooperative bid purchase, which we're a member of. They're very expensive. There'll be 3 of the signs for a total of $19,071. And this is an item that I have put in this, that I've asked to put in this year's budget. So we have the money allocated.
Okay. All right, you've heard the presentation. What's the board's pleasure?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, item B is consideration of bids for flashing warning signs for the fire department.
Mayor, you had a motion, we need a second.
We have a motion.
Sorry, I didn't hear it.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Okay. It has been properly seconded, so what's the board's pleasure? Give me a roll call, Tina.
Alderman Mike Hansel.
Yes.
Alderwoman Luana Ottinger.
Yes, ma'am.
Alderman Randy Reagan.
Yes.
Alderman Steve Smith.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Connie Ball.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have a pretty large audience here today. And our next item on the agenda is our comments from citizens. I would admonish everyone that you're limited to 5 minutes. And if you have someone or here with a group that has similar things you want to say, please elect one person to relay that message. So we maybe not have to be here past 10 o'clock tonight. So
I'm sorry, Mayor. Could we possibly have a 2-minute break?
2-minute break.
2 minutes.
First of all, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak. My name is Michelle Lane. I am not a city taxpayer, so I appreciate you allowing me to speak. I have a great deal of respect for Mayor Dykes and for Vice Mayor Connie Ball. Known them my whole life. I serve on boards with some of you guys, and I consider many of you my friends. My problem is not with anybody that is a current city alderman or anybody serving on the current NU board. You only have to go back 12 or 13 years to see why me personally and a lot of other people don't think that it's a good idea for one governmental board or council to have that much control over a regional asset. The five, you guys appoint the 5 seats.
Yes.
And then if, I wouldn't have a problem with any of you. Sir, I don't know you, Mr. Smith, I'm sorry, I had to ask which Steve Smith you were. But anybody else, I would not have a problem with any of you serving on the NU board. Just like Luana said, we've got 8 months until the next election. And Mr. Fincham alluded to the fact that when all that went down, that these people that ran for the city council seats here ran on the campaign promise that Mr. Ray would be reinstated. So what Mr. Ray did and what the NU board did affected 100% of the Newport utility customer base. But only 17% got to vote on the alderman that made that decision. And Mr. Fincham, I serve on boards with you and I don't have any problem, and I understand why you're upset, because $870,000 is a lot of money, but so is $900,000. And the $750,000 that the NU customers, that NU's already paid because we had to buy out the contract of the gentleman that was terminated when Mr. Ray was brought back in, and then the $150,000 that he was paid in back pay equals $900,000. So we're still, if you guys are not going to, and I'm so thankful that you're not going to have to pay that $870,000 fine. But
we don't know yet. That's just...
Well, we will all cross our fingers, hope and pray, because I understand what kind of a hit that is.
Well, it'd be crippling to...
Well, I understand. But $900,000 was not pleasant for Newport Utilities to have to pay. And that does not take into consideration any of the millions that the comptroller shows that was misappropriated. So, that's 87% of the customers of Newport Utilities had no say. And like you said, they ran on that promise. Well, I didn't have a choice. I can't vote in the city elections. So, I'm sorry, I'm very nervous because, not because I'm nervous to speak in front of people, but because I'm friends. And Newport, I may not be a city resident, but Newport is my city. Cott County is my county. And I understand that many of the Newport Utility Board members reside in the county, but, just like Mr. Fincham said, they ran on reinstating, but I didn't get a say. 87% of the customers of Newport Utilities had no say. I don't lie either. And we did pay that $900,000, plus the other things that was misappropriated, and I have to stand up for the people of Cott County. I'm going to fight for the people of Cott County, and I'm also sorry if it ruffles feathers. I love the idea of the 2 boards having the workshop. I think we're in this together, and we will do the best for all stakeholders by working together. Thank you.
Are there any others?
Mayor, Alderman, I had not planned to speak tonight, but I feel led to do so just briefly. So the most important asset that we have in our community is Newport Utilities. And it's not the power poles, and it's not the pipes. It's these men and women right here behind us, and they deserve our respect. It's been very humbling to serve the community in this fashion, being on the board. So that said, I would like to make you all aware that the utilities offices are open from 9 till 4:30 Monday through Friday now. Okay? And that's all I've got to say. I'll back up. I look forward to us getting together where we can sit down and work these things out.
Thank you, Chris. Are there others who wish to speak? Hearing none, we will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. We are adjourned.